So, a new Dragon Ball game has officially been announced, obviously. There's so much to talk about right now that my mind is just all over the place. And we are alive, right? We're good right now. Anyways, my mind is all over the place of this new Dragon Ball game. It's everywhere because Dragon Ball Fighters, the one thing we had leaked earlier today, I guess, I saw it on Twitter. How are you guys all doing in the chat? I thought this would be good to do with a live stream. Not only are we getting an incredibly beautiful game from the one gameplay screenshot that we have, at least as far as I know, that is a gameplay screenshot. We're told that this game's going to look like the anime, and it has the 3D camera angles that are going to be... It sounds like Marvel vs. Capcom, in a way. It's a 3v3 fighter. I'm sure most of you guys have seen all the stuff about it in that little snippet I have in the middle of the stream there. There's that little mini description of the game. Talks about how it's going to be a game built by it really is a fighting game developer through and through. They've made so many games. Arc System Works. They've done BlazBlue. I think that's how you say it. It might be BlazBlue, but BlazBlue, Guilty Gear. I haven't played either of those. Extreme Butoden. They did that. Dragon Ball Z Extreme Butoden. So, they're incredibly experienced here. And I think that's what's really exciting here, aside from the graphics, which I think is what a lot of people are really stuck on. This is being developed by a developer with so much years of experience, so many. It's like a 30-year-old company at this point. They made... apparently, they did Battletoads, which... I mean, that's what the Wikipedia says, so, it is Wikipedia still, but... anyways, I already did a video on this, and I decided to scrap it because I felt like it would be much better to do this live. It'd be funner. I can interact with you guys as well. So, it's a 2.5D fighter, right? Coming early 2018, and it's gonna, as far as I know, be shown off at E3 on what it looks like to be the 12th. And it's hard to talk about this game now because we don't know a lot, but there's so much I can say. I guess the first thing is 3v3 fighter. I think that's the most exciting part for me because it's a 3v3 fighter, 2.5D. That doesn't really mean that's going to be like something like people are expecting Budokai. It's not going to be Budokai as far as I'm concerned. Budokai is more on the 3D side. You can sidestep, around the environment in the Budokai games. This is going to be like, again, Marvel vs. Capcom, I think, where it's a 2D plane. You go left to right, and you can jump around and duck. That's really it, but that 2.5 aspect comes in play where you do supers and ultimates, and the camera angles change. So it sounds like it's going to look like the Dragon Ball Z anime, and when it does those 3D cutscenes for like supers and stuff, that's where you're going to see some exciting things. I did a look back at some of the Guilty Gear stuff and some of the BlazBlue stuff, and that looks amazing. And I've seen those games before. I haven't had a chance to play them. I know they're super competitive and hardcore fighters. Do I think this is going to be at the same level? No, I don't. I mean, because it's a Dragon Ball game, it's going to be built for casual players in a way. First, I feel like, it's going to have to be easy to approach. And I'm not saying it's not going to have depth, and I could be completely wrong. I'm just going at this from a logistical standpoint, I guess, a business perspective. How are they going to want to market this? Because they're going to want to have people be able to pick up and play this game. And, I think Marvel vs. Capcom 3 does that pretty well, and it does have a good amount of depth. So, I think it's going to be similar to that game. Obviously, not exactly the same, but I think that's the closest thing I can compare it to. And it really just sounds like a DBZ and Marvel vs. Capcom game, and I've always wanted that. I've always thought it'd be cool if they did a Dragon Ball Z game with Marvel or with Capcom. So Dragon Ball versus Capcom in a game. I always found that to be like an amazing thing, but this is even better because it's just all Dragon Ball characters. So it is kind of in a way one of my dream games. It's not the ideal game, I guess, for me, but the ideal Dragon Ball game is probably something that's so ludicrous to even think of that no one would ever develop it. So I hope this is going to be a hardcore fighter. I love fighting games. I'm a huge gamer. A lot of you guys probably already know that. Giant gamer. And if this is going to be a fighting game that has a lot of depth to it, Xenoverse is great, but I still think there's a lot of cheesy stuff in it. That kind of comes with a lot of the 3D Dragon Ball games on, even Tenkaichi and Budokai to an extent. Here, it's a lot more of a fair playing field, I guess, if that makes sense, with a 2D plane. And I see you guys going up in the chat. I'm real curious of what you guys really think of this game, because I had a lot to say going in this, and now as I'm talking, a lot of stuff is getting lost from my mind. That's the problem with doing it live. The original video I had was like 11 minutes long. Granted, I described a lot of what the game was gonna be first, so I guess that would take up like 3 or 4 minutes. But I see a lot of you guys just talking trash to Xenoverse. Listen, I love Xenoverse, but this sounds like just the ultimate Dragon Ball game thus far for me that's going to be released. Hyper DBZ was great, not officially licensed though, and this is going to be officially licensed, and there's hopefully going to be that just amazing layer of polish. Did any of you guys play Extreme Butoden, Dragon Ball Z Extreme Butoden on the 3DS? They developed that in 2015, I believe, is when that came out. So I'm curious if you guys played that. I played the demo on the 3DS. I don't own a 3DS, so it's hard for me to actually play it, of course. But what did you guys think of that game? Did that game have a lot of depth? Because I didn't get to experiment too much with it. And I knew that was kind of a team-based fighter as well. And, that's what really excites me, because, again, I love Marvel vs. Capcom. So this is just like a dream game for me. And you have a developer that is, I would say, the most experienced developer that's worked on a Dragon Ball game or a fighter game for Dragon Ball. I mean, Dimps is awesome. Don't get me wrong. Budokai, love it. Xenoverse, love it. They worked on Street Fighter 4 and 5 as well. Not like the main developer. I believe they did assistance with it and stuff. I don't know the depth of that, but this team just seems like they have so much more experience, and especially since this is a 2D fighter, which seems to be all they really work on for fighting games. That's what impresses and excites me the most. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Let's see. I can't even read the name off the top of my head. Jesus. I'm just too excited for this. But now the name's gone. Says that Extreme Butoden's pretty meh. Not a lot of depth. That's kind of what if that's true, that's kind of what I'd figure, because it's a 3DS game. There probably isn't needed to be as much effort, I guess, there. So I wouldn't look at Extreme Butoden as a comparison to this, I suppose. I would look at it more as its own thing, with a lot more depth, because it's going to be a major console release, which I'm surprised we're even getting another console release this year for Dragon Ball. That's the big shocker to me. I feel like, actually, who am I kidding? The big shocker is what the game's actually going to be like. But another big shocker is I didn't really expect there to be an E3 announcement or anything like that, or any big game. I figured we'd do Xenoverse 3 and then move on to something else. But I didn't think Xenoverse 3 would come out this year either. Madcat MK6. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised this game skips E3 and we have to wait until EVO to hear more on it. Well, as far as I know, it's going to be at E3, and in the top right of the little, I guess, summary of the game, I have it cut off because I wanted to get everything to fit on the screen here. In the top right, it says June 12th, 2017, in the top right, I should say. So I'm guessing that's the day they're going to show off at E3. Wouldn't that be that would be the Sunday, but that would be Sunday here in the U.S., so that would be the 11th in the U.S., so that kind of makes sense, because that would be like the 12th in Japan, I would assume. Do you think it'll have Deborah? I mean, I hope it has Deborah. I don't know what the character roster is going to be like, especially if it's a game with a huge amount of depth in each character. They're going to have to meticulously craft each character. I would expect a roster around 30 to 40. I don't expect any higher with this type of a game, at least. That's just my opinion. Have any of you guys played BlazBlue or Guilty Gear? I've never touched it. What are those games like? I know they're super, super competitive, really well received, and loved games. I just honestly never had a chance to really play them. I'm more of a Killer Instinct guy. Dragon Ball Super characters, I think we can expect some of those, I would say. I'm curious if we're going to see like a major story mode. I mean, we don't really need one. Especially in Dragon Ball now, where we get the same story over and over. Don't get me wrong, I love playing the same story over and over, but with a fighting game like this, I mean, you can make do with an arcade mode, and then the rest of it's going to be a competitive play. Again, I don't know how they make their other games like Guilty Gear and stuff. Do those have story modes? I have no idea. I haven't gotten a chance to really look into them too much, so that's my bad. But just, what I can obviously tell from the experience of the developers that we can expect some really high quality and special here. I'm just skipping through the chat, so apologies if I'm quiet for a little bit. I am all over the place right now, guys. There's too much to say. I know I'm missing something with this game. I'm just going through this chat. You guys going crazy up in here in this chat. I love Raging Blast 2, but it's busted. I mean, it has flaws for sure. I don't think any of the 3D games are perfect. Injustice-style Dragon Ball game? Well, I mean, I know it's not going to be that, but I don't really think that would really work too much. Quick note on Injustice. What I find is funny is that Injustice came out, then MKX came out and reworked the whole Mortal Kombat combat system to just make it Injustice. And then Injustice 2, honestly, as far as I've played, which is a good amount, isn't that different from the first one or MKX. It's faster, it feels like, but it has a lot of the pretty much same mechanics and not really a whole lot of new mechanics, at least as far as I can tell. But that's just a side note on Injustice. Speaking of other video games, I mean, if this is coming out in 2018, early 2018, I would expect March or February, honestly. Maybe even January if you're lucky, but I would expect February. We saw Xenoverse 1 in February of 2015. This and Red Dead Redemption 2, I mean, come on, guys. This is going to be... Those two games alone is all I really need to fill out my year. If Crackdown 3 comes out in 2018 and not 17, that's even better. That's an even better year right there. But let's keep going in this chat here. I know I have something else to say about this damn game, and I'm gonna forget it, and I'm gonna regret it. And I don't like to forget things here. Shy City says Guilty Gear has a story mode, so this might have one too. I think that that if that has it, then yeah, it's plausible that we could definitely get one. We'll have to see, really. It's so much speculation, but for a leak, it feels like we got a lot to work with here than what you would usually get with a little game leak. Are those pictures screenshots? The top one without the life gauges and energy meters, I don't know about. As far as I know, the one with the actual life bars and the heads-up display, that is a gameplay screenshot, which, I mean, if that's the case, it's not high quality in terms of the actual resolution of not the game, but the image itself. I'm sure the resolution of the game is going to be 1080p and maybe 900 on Xbox One. The actual resolution of the image is like 640 by 480, real low quality stuff, so it's not crisp, super HD. It doesn't look good blown up on a thumbnail. Speaking of thumbnails, it was incredibly difficult to think of one that was going to be unique for this video because everyone's going to be doing the same stuff. By the way, hopefully the audio sounds good here. I'm looking at myself in the preview here, waving my arms about like a madman. I have no idea if the audio's synced up still. I hope it is. I hope this game's at EVO, Fresh Prince. I hope it is too. It would be exciting to finally see a Dragon Ball game at EVO. I don't think there's ever been one, honestly. Also, Monkey97 says, looks like DBZ Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, it's... Please. Because Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, it's sounding a little bit disappointing so far. I don't know. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is one of my favorite fighting games, though. And, even Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But I think something about 3 I just like more. I don't know what it is. I'm going to quickly open up the... the document here, the biography, just to go over this, and I'll read some more of the chat here, just to refresh my mind, because I know, I said I know I'm forgetting something, guys. I know it. Where do I got this stuff at? I want this on the Switch. I mean, the thing is, I'm not sure if it's that the Switch isn't going to be able to, they're not going to want to, downgrade the game for the Switch, because, I mean, let's be honest, the Switch is strong for a handheld, and it is, as far as I can see, it does seem to have better performance with games than the PS3 and the 360. I'm not a huge hardware expert, obviously, but just from what I can see with the games that they have put on the Switch, it seems like it is, higher than the Wii U, but not to an extreme degree. They're having a lot of trouble putting the latest FIFA game on the Switch, I believe. It's pretty much like the PS3 and 360 counterparts. So, you know, I'm really curious what Xenoverse is going to be like on the Switch. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think it's going to be a pretty big downgrade. There's a lot of things in Xenoverse that I just don't think the Switch is going to have. This game, I don't know if it's going to be a hardware issue necessarily, but, you know, I was looking at the wiki and it was saying the games like, you know, BlazBlue and Guilty Gear. I was seeing, I don't know which, but, you know, some of their fighting games were only on like PC and PlayStation, not even an Xbox thing. So the reason this is going to be like a multi-platform game is because it's such a huge thing like Dragon Ball. It's got to be on all the platforms, but, you know, it doesn't seem like they put a lot of games on Xbox. Again, I took a quick glance. I didn't go over it for like an hour, so if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But, you know, it could just be developers' choice they don't want to put on Switch right now, or they're not working on it and it can come out later. Of course, we could see something different at E3. Now I gotta actually get this freaking thing here pulled up, this bio. Okay. See if this works out. So, 2.5D infuses the style of 2D anime with 3D camera switches. We know that already. So like they said, that's going to look a lot like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I think. That's pretty much what I think. You know, aside from the fact that's a 3v3 fighter. But they even talks about how you have to pick characters that are compatible with each other. And, you know, they'll work well off of each other's combos. Again, like Marvel vs. Capcom. I can't even talk anymore. But it just seems like they're really trying to get that essence of speed and beautiful artwork that Dragon Ball really has. But let's keep bouncing off the chat. I know I'm still forgetting something that I was going to say, and I can't for the life of me remember. I hope it's kind of like Budokai 3. It doesn't sound like it's going to be anything like a Budokai game, unfortunately, which I do want a Budokai game again, but this is just something that it just sounds like it's going to take a lot of raw skill, at least from the developer's background. It just sounds like it's going to have something that's going to have a lot of raw skill to it. I think it'll, Antoine Cohen, I hope I said your name right. I think it will have a 4-button layout, light, medium, heavy, a la MVC3. I hope it's similar to that, but not the exact same. You know, make it your own, but I do want, you know, the A button, you know, like the launch button and stuff. I want that kind of system, you know. Easy combos, right? Easy to learn, like Marvel vs. Capcom. Very difficult to keep and master the stuff, you know? That's what I want here. Approachability, but a lot of depth. Not always easy to get into a game, especially a fighting game, and especially a 3D fighter. So here with a 2D fighter, it works out a little bit more, I think. What else we got here, guys? You guys are going off in the chat. I can't keep up with everyone, so I apologize. Just lost the chat for a second there. So it's like Mortal Kombat playstyle. No, it's not like Mortal Kombat. You know, we don't have gameplay, but just from the description, it doesn't sound like Mortal Kombat. Again, the closest thing I can compare it to, from what it sounds, is Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I don't know why I made this hand motion. Maybe I could just... 3. Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I tried to play that off and it didn't work. Not like Mortal Kombat. It probably will play similar to maybe their other games that they've made, the developer. And once this rolls up, once I have this upload, I'll look up Arc System Works in... I'll put their Wikipedia page in the chat. You can check out the games they have developed there. And I'll also put it in the description after this video goes up later on today. Right here is the Wikipedia page for them. That link, it's not a porn site, so you can click it. Just to clarify, guys. Check that out. They have such a huge catalog, over 30 years of development here, so... are there created characters? No idea at all yet. I wouldn't think so. We don't really need that. I mean, to be honest, in Xenoverse, I don't even play custom characters. I always play as the regular characters. I like the combos more. I think they're a lot more balanced, you know. The thing that I didn't like about Xenoverse with the created characters is that not only, you know, you have a new moveset, which is cool. You can put your own moves in your loadout, right? The problem with that is that you can make combinations that are busted, and I don't care if people want to defend Xenoverse. I love the game to death. It's one of my favorite games to play. But there are some broken combos, and there's no way around that. And it's because the game has so many attacks. Here it's going to be, I would imagine, a hardcore fighting game with little customization in terms of your moves and attacks. It's going to be tailored for a balanced gameplay experience. And, you know, maybe it won't have a lot of content or a large amount. It will be quality, at least as far as I'm concerned. Talking about this, I really want to play like Guilty Gear and BlazBlue now, honestly. I think they're both on PlayStation. I have a PS4, it's collecting dust, so I have to use it for something, honestly. What I think DLC is going to be like, Dragon Ball Super characters, if there's story mode stuff, story mode expansions. Let's see here. I should have played some music in the background here, but you know what? This will have to do. It would be interesting to see if they do a story mode that's like a unique type, but not like, you know, time travel. Something like Dragon Ball Heroes does, where they make up actual new storylines without... Well, I guess they do time travel on Heroes, right? I don't play Heroes. I'm not in Japan. I can't play that game. But I hope that there's like those crossover attacks that you can do like Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm sure they're gonna. Again, I haven't played a lot of Extreme Butoden, so I don't know fully how that was like. But from what you guys are saying, there wasn't a whole lot of depth in that game, which I can understand because it's a handheld. I'm basically at this point just saying the same stuff I've been saying. Getting some out of the chat here. I was scrolling up and all over the chat here. A good fighting game should this comes from Madcat MK6 again. A good fighting game should always have a bit of brokenness to it. When you make balance a core of a fighter, you get games like Street Fighter V, very sterile and not the most exciting. I haven't played a lot of Street Fighter V. I see what you mean though. I haven't played a lot of Street Fighter V though, to be honest. I played it like half an hour. It just seemed like Street Fighter V was a lot more streamlined and not as hardcore. I didn't play it much though. I kind of got bored in like half an hour, and that's kind of sad. But again, I just don't play with my PlayStation a lot either. I really play on Xbox. Here come the dislikes. Yeah, I understand what you mean though. It adds an exciting dynamic, but the problem with like Xenoverse is that there's too much broken, or it's broken to an extremely immense extent, I suppose. And you know, some characters do need to have like advantages that seem broken, but a good fighting game always has ways to counter that stuff. Even if things seem broken at first, you have to learn how to get around it. So I don't really necessarily think that a game needs to be broken. It needs to seem broken on the surface, so you have to learn how to do these moves or get around these crazy attacks that some character might have. You understand? That's my mentality. I'm not a hardcore fighter. I play a lot of fighting games, but I'm not like an expert. So I'm just giving you I would say an above average player's point of view. But again, the game I probably play the most is Killer Instinct. If you want to talk about core fighting games, I mean, that's my favorite, because what I like about Killer Instinct, and I hope this has too, which it might not. What I like about Killer Instinct, and a lot of other fighting games don't have, at least in my opinion, is once you start getting hit, you kind of either have to, they might have some mechanic to roll out or something like that. A lot of times you just have to let the combo finish, right? What I love about Killer Instinct is that almost every step of the way, if you're good enough, there's a way to counter someone's combo. If they're punching you, you can do a counter break. There's all sorts of things you can do. Again, I'm not an expert, but just at my perspective, what I like about Xenoverse, Budokai, and Killer Instinct as well, there's so many defensive options to get away from your opponent, but not necessarily making it, it still looks engaging and exciting to see someone get out of a combo and to move around fast, It's not like the first Xenoverse where you'd you'd snap vanish behind someone and then run away. Like, that's not fun. Also would be cool if this game was based off a Tournament of Power. It'd be cool to see that story mode in here. Again, I think that this is going to be coming out in like February. That's just my prediction, honestly. Just, they seem like they're not afraid to put out games in February, Bandai. That's when I would expect it. It says early 2018, so that's actually, that'd be like what, 9-8 months from now. So, I want it to be out now. I want a beta. Are they going to do a beta? That's the question. Because they did a beta for Xenoverse. I think that was more for the hub world to test that out and make sure the connection was good there. I don't know if we're going to get a beta for this one, but that'd be cool. SS God, SS Gogito. Man, I wish they would have a DLC pack 4 gameplay trailer already. The DLC pack 4 for Xenoverse is coming out at the end of the month, so I would expect a trailer next week. I don't know any inside information, though. I'm just guessing. Let's see here. Emmanuel. I'm going to mess up every name I try to read. Emmanuel Desire. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I couldn't get it. I think a good fighting game needs to be competitive in order to maintain its longevity. I completely agree. One person I want to see talk about this game, even though he's not a big Dragon Ball fan, but I've seen him playing a lot of Hyper DBZ, is Maximilian Dude. He should do a video on this game, and he'll give you more insight. He's the man to look at for the fighting games. Of course, I don't watch him too much, but he does pop up my sub feed. I don't watch every video he makes, but he makes some pretty good content from what I do watch, actually. Right now, guys, in the chat, give me your top 5 characters you want to see that might be a little bit iffy on actually being in the game. Don't just list guys like Goku, Vegeta, Super Buu that we know are gonna probably be in the game. In the screenshot we can see Fat Buu, so we know it's at least going to the Buu saga. Let me know your top 5 characters you want. I want Beerus. I want Vegito. I should say Vegito Blue, because I think Vegito would probably be in it. These are top 5 off the top of the head too, because let's just say 5 characters I really want to see. So Beerus, who I think will probably be in the game, but we don't really know. It could just be something that goes up to the Buu saga. No idea. We just got the leak today. Beerus, Super Saiyan Blue, Vegito, Goku Black, obviously. Zamasu, maybe, but I do want to see like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, so that would be my 4th, and I guess a 5th one. I'm trying to think of characters that I don't think will be in the game, but should. Again, I think it's going to be a character roster of 30 to 40 characters. Boy. Buhan? No. I mean, I don't. As long as they got Super Buu, I don't care about Buhan, to be honest with you. I can't think of a 5th one, and there's so many characters to pick from. Mr. Satan I would like to see, but that'd be like a joke character. Anyways, I don't know my 5th. I can't decide. Omega Shenron, but that's too much GT now. Oh well. One thing I'm interested to see is Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had, I think there's more than one. There's some characters that can like transform, like Dante and Virgil from Devil May Cry. They can use their Devil Trigger mode with their energy bar. So I'm curious to see if you can use your energy bar in this game to do transformations. I see we have Super Saiyan Goku obviously in the gameplay image, but is that a transformation or is it just you selecting the character from the start? Honestly, I could go either way. I don't need transformations in a Dragon Ball Z game if it's a fighter like this. I don't need it. It'd be nice to have, and it could add a nice little layer of depth to your strategy of how to use your energy bars, like how a lot of games have. Injustice is the most recent game to use this, I guess. Using your energy bar to do a burn move, so you use a little bar of energy to make your move stronger. It's not the only fighting game to do that, and it won't be the last. This will probably have this as well. I do hope we get transformations in gameplay. If we don't, it's not a deal breaker for me, especially because I'm sure these fights aren't going to last very long. Even though there's 3 fighters on each team, Marvel vs. Capcom fights can end in like 30 seconds if you're good enough, so... No love for Janemba. You know what? That is a good option for Janemba to be in the game. Broly, I'm sure, will be there. He's kind of a given. He's just a fan favorite. Baby Vegeta. Pablo, Baby Vegeta would be amazing to have in this game. Future Gohan. Okay, you guys are now making me look like a fool for not thinking of these characters. Yes. Okay, you guys are coming up with some good ones. And it's good because everyone's going to watch this is going to see the chat. I made sure to put the chat there. Caulifla, boy, you better put her in the game. Bardock, I think we will see us. Will we see us at E3? As far as I know, we will. That's what I've been told. This is like a pre-E3 leak. Granted, I don't... Honestly, for me, I don't have all the information like 100% confirmed in terms of actual sources. I just know what I've heard from credible people on Twitter and stuff like that. I would expect to E3. Again, I don't have like the direct source for that. So, but all this stuff that you see on screen is like actual stuff. So don't get that twisted. I just, from what I heard, it is at E3. So I would expect it Sunday, because it says the 12th up in the top right corner, and that would be Monday in Japan, Sunday here in the U.S. So last day E3, I guess, right? Or does E3 go on until Monday? I don't know. Do you think that in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 there should be Ken, Guile, and Cammy? Do you mean Infinite or Marvel vs. Capcom 3? Because, well, I don't really know. Well, I guess it'd be cool to see them in there, but that's too many Street Fighter characters. I just want Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I mean, apparently from the leaked roster, it's going to be, I think, Jill. I know Chris Redfield, and I saw Nemesis. I didn't see anything about Wesker, which is disappointing because I loved Wesker in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And I really want Leon Kennedy in there because that's my favorite. That's my favorite Resident Evil protagonist, honestly. So I think he's way cooler than Chris is. Boy, this is like a stream that's all over the place, but it's great because I got the Dragon Ball Z stuff, the main stuff, out of the way first, and then we keep talking about it throughout the stream. This is just a fun little thing to talk. I just love talking about games, honestly. That's pretty much the bottom line here. We want Phoenix Wright. I love using him in 3. I love using him in MVC 3. Dante, Virgil, and Lady. Yeah, because Trish in 3 was kind of like, I didn't really like playing with her. I think Lady would have been a cooler option. It would have really been cooler, but if they're going to do a third Resident or Devil May Cry character, they should definitely do Lady. Give us Pac-Man, boy. I don't think we need that. Here we go. Neo Electric Styline. I don't know. Says, do I hear Buff Roshi for the new Dragon Ball game? And the Failure Fusions again? Failure Fusions is iffy. I could see Roshi being a pretty cool character to play with. I don't know if we're going to do Failed Fusions. Then it comes another question of, are we going to see fusions in gameplay, or is that going to be separate characters? I would assume separate characters. And I know there's going to be a lot of Dragon Ball fans that are going to be bitching when this game's getting released and being like, where are our transformations? These games had this thing. These games had that. This is a very different type of game for Dragon Ball that I just never expected to come to light, really. At least for a licensed, an official game. I never expected this kind of a game. So you can't expect those type of things in a hardcore fighter like this, at least as far as we know it's hardcore fighter. There's so many assumptions, but I think my assumptions are okay here. I think they're pretty educated assumptions. I don't think I'm spewing out a lot of BS here. But there's also a part of me that's just being hopeful and fanboyish, I guess. Give us the Pride Troopers and Trio of Dangers. The thing is, like, a lot of the Universe 6 tournament stuff, it's questionable if a lot of that's going to be in any of the games because there's so many new characters that are being introduced. That's going to be hard to fill up those spots. Again, I think 30 to 40 character roster at the start. That's my guess. Maybe even less, but they couldn't get away with less than 30, I don't think. So yeah, maybe we can get upwards to 50 characters, but I don't think any higher than 50. That's just my opinion. At least, thus far. But, aside from the Universe tournament stuff, I would definitely still expect super characters to be in the game. There's a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite talk in the chat too, which I love. Too bad this is a Dragon Ball channel, and I could still talk about it. But honestly, I don't have that much to say about the game. It just kind of seems like it's going to be disappointing. I'm hoping it's going to be great. I'm excited for the story mode, but it just seems like it's really going to be simplified and dumbed down. That's kind of disappointing. I'll probably still pick it up. Maybe I'll give it a rent and then decide if I want to buy it. I ain't made of money here. Who will I be? Naji says, who will you be maining in the new game? So in Dragon Ball FighterZ, who's going to be your main character? At least in terms of who you would expect, Goku, Vegeta, Frieza, Cell, all those characters. In the chat as well, guys. Who will be your main character as far as you, expect in this game? Every game, Goku is always my best character. It's just because Goku is like the motorcycles going by. They got a barricade going on right now. Motorcycles going by my house trying to disrupt the live streams. Every Dragon Ball Z fighting game, Goku's always my main because he's just like the Ryu, Ryu from Street Fighter. He's like the Ryu of Dragon Ball Z games. He's like the all-arounder, I think he's easy to pick up, but, he does have a lot of depth in most of his games. I just like playing with that character, and Goku's also my favorite character in the series, so it's kind of like easy for me to pick. I think Vegeta would be pretty good too because he's going to be more Ki Blast based, I'm sure. It's going to be interesting to see what characters are zoners and what aren't. And, if you don't know what zoners are, it's basically spammers. People that just sit in the corner and use their range attacks. They just call them zoners instead of spammers. Tien, Piccolo, Future Trunks, that's what Awesome Monkey 97 thinks. I think Future Trunks would be pretty cool because you'll see some sword combat. Like, you can't not have it with him, right? Boy, you're getting me excited. Because think about how amazing, aside from the graphics and how, cool the gameplay is going to be in the 3v3 stuff. Boy, how amazing are these combos going to look, though? I think I need to sit down, alright? I think I need to sit down here. Just call me the DBZ hype man. Don't do that because I don't want to be known as any titles. Power scaling king, I never asked for that. I don't consider myself that. I like to power skill, that's about it. I don't do it a lot. Andrex Wolf, do you think they will add SSJ Goku Black in the new game? I don't think they're going to do Super Saiyan Goku Black. I would say Rose, or Rose, however you want to say it. Because Super Saiyan Goku Black was manga only, and this is going to be something catering to the anime. I don't see it having the Super Saiyan form of Goku Black. And to be honest, I don't really want him. I don't think it looks that good with the color scheme of Goku Black. I don't think that the skin tone, the black gi, and the yellow hair, I don't think it really is a good color scheme, to be honest. That's just me. I think the pink for the rose is a lot better, honestly. Rip Xenoverse? No. I mean, Xenoverse 3 is probably going to blow 2 and 1 out of the water. It's a different experience, really. It's not like this is going to be the be-all, end-all of Dragon Ball games. It's a different flavor of game. It's all about, do you like 2D fighters? Do you like a Marvel vs. Capcom style fighter? That's kind of it. Da in the chat, it's just DA is his name. It's an interesting name. Better be a real competitive game. I do want it to be a real competitive fighter game. And, to be a balanced one, obviously, as well. Yo, what's up, Josh? How you doing? I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm actually very excited for this game. I was going to upload more of the Dragon Ball Z mobile game video that I did like 2 weeks ago or so. I did the DBZ mobile games because that was pretty well received. You guys enjoyed it a lot. Got a good amount of views. I had fun doing it. So I was going to do another one of those. Probably going to do that this weekend now. We'll see about that. Drew Harris, at the same time, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 will be more exciting, but more annoying. Again, that kind of comes with the 3D fighter territory. There's a lot more unpredictability, and not in a good way, I guess, because of all the attacks that Xenoverse has. There's going to always be broken combos. Just too many attacks to keep balance. That's how it is. Dokkan Battle. Who cares about Dokkan, bro? On that mobile game video, a lot of people are like, where's Dokkan? And I'm just like, do you really think that I have never heard of Dokkan Battle? I just didn't think there was a reason to play it because I knew everyone and his grandma played it. I mean, what's that game at? Like, what? 20 billion downloads? I mean, come on, bro. Everyone knows about the game. We need more pickles. They should have a pickle character in the game. I definitely think a pickle would be useful. Finally, a good DBZ game. There's been plenty. Especially if you want to go on, like, actual, like, semi-hardcore fighting games, more skill-based fighters. Super Dragon Ball Z was a really good game, but I never was really able to get a very good grasp on it. I haven't played it a whole lot. I did a couple videos on the channel about it, I believe, 1 or 2. I played it a little on my own time because I have an emulator on my PC for it. That's a good game. Budokai, I mean, come on, you can't say Budokai's not good, bro. And Burst Limit, Shin Budokai, funny enough, all the Dimps games. I like Tenkaichi. I don't think it's a great fighter. I stand by that. I might get hate for it. It's not. If you want to compare it to actual fighting games, it doesn't even stand close, I don't think. That's just my opinion. Even Budokai doesn't necessarily, but it's closer than Tenkaichi. It's just a lot more balanced. Dragon Ball Z Legends, that is some old stuff. That's like PS1 era. But, I mean, what do you guys think of this game overall? Are you super excited? Would there have been something else you'd rather have than this, as far as we can tell with the information we have? Would you have rather seen a Budokai game, a Tenkaichi game, Xenoverse 3? I still want Xenoverse 3, but I like this a lot. Tenkaichi, way better than Budokai. Please tell me how. I'm excited. I'm not going to get mad. I'm just curious of your opinion. The one thing I understand people will say, like, this game's the best for me. Not necessarily pertaining to this live stream, but when I do video discussions and I give an opinion, like that Vegito anime versus manga video I did. I don't know why I'm pointing off screen. One of the things that bothers me there is that people say manga's better, anime's better, manga's better, manga's better, anime's better, anime's better, anime's better. They'll say that. But I made it pretty clear in the video. If you're going to say that, can you at least please give me a little bit of evidence or a little bit of your insight on why you think that way? It just... I don't like when people just say something's better but don't say why. I don't know. It's a pet peeve of mine. By the way, how's everyone liking this stream? I think it's going pretty good. I probably should end it soon. I mean, 40 minutes, and a lot of it's just been kind of BS anyways, but... hopefully you guys are enjoying this stream, because I have fun doing these. You know, I just don't want to linger it on for too long, because, you know, it'd just be like milking it at this point. I don't think Tenkaichi sucks. Tenkaichi is a good game. I just don't think that it's particularly a well-made fighter, I suppose. You know, it's hard when you make 3D games. Again, fun game. It's just, you know, that's all I can say. Fragu in the chat just said, I just realized this was a stream. Bruh. Catch This L said, why I hate Budokai, because it doesn't feel like Dragon Ball is meant to be it doesn't feel like Dragon Ball is meant to be a slow-paced fighter. I'm not a fan of Street Fighter either. See, that makes sense. You don't like slower-paced fighting games. I don't think that Budokai is really that slow. I will say Burst Limit, I mean, has crazy speed to it, and so does Shin Budokai as well. I don't know if you've played those, and Infinite World. But yeah, you know, with a 2D fighter on like a 3D plane, you know, there is a little bit of a slowness. With this game, since it is that 2D plane, you know, you're just going to be going left, right, jump, crouch, do your little crouch kicks, your low blows. With that game, since it's only on a 2D plane, you're able to capture a lot more of that crazy speed. Is it going to be faster than something like Xenoverse? Probably. I mean, especially if they're going for like a 2D animated style where they're making these characters look just like they do in the anime. I mean, the amount of animation work that is going to be amazing. How smooth are the animations going to look? I don't know. How, like, you know, what's that going to look like on screen? I have no idea. I hope we get to see that this weekend. Marvel vs. Capcom's pretty fast. Gizmo MCS, see? In the chat said that. So yeah, MVC is really fast. And again, I say it so many times, but it's true. It sounds just like Marvel vs. Capcom. It does. And I don't... Oh boy. I'm going to get comments when this goes up and be like, you need to shut the hell up about Marvel vs. Capcom. Just like, come on, bro. I'm excited here. Listen, I'm excited. Super Smash Bros. Melee is fast. Well, yeah, but this isn't Smash Bros. Though, dude. But it is, you know, it's a fast-ish game, I'd say, yeah. Let's see here. DBZ Sagas was trash. That's not an incorrect statement. And, you know, unlike other things, you don't need to explain why that game is bad. Everyone should know why that game's bad. I think I'm going to do I want to do a playthrough, but I don't. It might be like a heavily edited playthrough. I have no idea yet. Boy, this stream has turned into just not a lot of talk about the game anymore. I think I'm going to end it off here. We got like, what, about 45 minutes stream. That's a good stream. I think it flowed good because all the important stuff was in the beginning. If people don't want to listen to that, they don't have to. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, stream. Thanks for watching as always. I'm so excited for this game. thanks to all the people that came out to the stream. It's always great to see dozens of people come out here just to listen to me freaking BS, or maybe they don't care about what I have to say. They just want to hear what the game is, I guess. But to those of you who do enjoy this, thanks for watching. I'll try doing more streams for very specific types of videos. But thanks for watching, and of course, I'll catch you guys later.